welcome everybody to the Grueling Crew CFL Weekly Pick'em Show. We're at Week 18. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster, and I want to welcome in my co-host. We're going to start off with the Hall of Famer this week since he was first, picked every game right. Help welcome to the show, Dieter Brock.
Good afternoon or night or whatever it is.
Oh, hell, people can listen at any time, so whatever you say, we can go.
Okay.
You get like a 33% chance that your time of day will be correct and a 66.7% that it won't.
Okay.
Also, help me welcome to the show, the immortal Os Davis.
Oh, I'm immortal now. Thank you. Great to be here. Good day, as they say in Australia. Good day.
Really? You just use an Australia. Okay, Crockett. Well, from now on, he's Crocodile Dundee. Okay,
yep.
Dieter?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And finally, last and certainly least, Brian Schmidt.
Greetings, humanoids.
Is this some Star Trek stuff? Humanoids. All right, we're going to start off with the Ottawa Redblacks, probably the biggest game of the week in terms of getting into the playoffs and stuff like that. Ottawa 30, Hamilton 29. Brian, what was your first take on the game? I mean, Henry Burris played well again.
Burris played well. Yeah, it's a great game. I thought Burris played well. Ottawa really showed some things. Again, Ottawa is just that strange team. You see them sometimes and you think, they could make some noise in the playoffs, and then other times you go, boy, I can't believe they're going to the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see how they finish up, and then kind of see where they go and how things go in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think I think Masoli played really well, but 25 for 32. But you had 3 touchdowns, but he still threw 2 to the other team.
Yeah, that's he has played well at times, and they had a chance to win the game. I mean, they had a 47-yard field goal. I guess there was a couple minutes left, and he missed, and I guess Ottawa controlled the ball there to run out the clock. But a really good game. Burris, like you said, played very, very well. These are the 2 best teams in the East, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens here.
That's just kind of like being the 2 skinniest kids at fat camp, though, Dieter.
Well, yeah, but it depends on who. Put the Western team over there. It's still going to be interesting.
Yeah, Ottawa is a team, Oz, that can do some damage if they can start clicking.
Yeah, they certainly can, especially against Hamilton. Especially against Hamilton. Well, this was the thing is, you're watching this game, and it's like instant flashback to last year, when Burris was so hot and he was driving the Cinderella team all the way to the Grey Cup, scoring 1 million points a game, and beating the Hamilton Tiger Cats in 3 of the 4 last games played by Hamilton last season. And it looks like that might happen again this season. The Ottawa Redblacks are really building up a nice little rivalry with Hamilton here. But, yeah, going forward, all of a sudden, maybe that number 3 seed in the eastern side isn't so easy if you have to go through Ottawa. Because right now, this team looks like the team that went to the Grey Cup last year.
All right, we'll switch gears a little bit. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, so we know we're going to Dieter first. 10-point fourth-quarter lead vanished for BC. They had a couple turnovers, final 3 minutes, combined with a couple of timely Winnipeg scores, gave the Blue Bombers a 35-32 win at BC. I think, Dieter, anybody that thought that this team might have just been playing bad competition, that's why they were winning, Oz, has to be proven wrong now.
Yeah, listen, Mike, I really think Winnipeg is the only team that's going to challenge Calgary. I think that if these 2 teams play, I think Winnipeg's the team that's going to have a chance to beat them. Yeah. They are, just because of their defense, and if they continue to play like they are on defense and getting these turnovers, and Nichols is playing error-free football for the most part. They're just, doing enough good things to have a really good team and have a chance to win. And that's
Andrew
what
Harris,
they're doing.
Yeah, Andrew Harris, 12 carries, 73 yards. So offensively, they're pretty complete. The one thing I would worry about, Brian, is Nichols did throw 2 interceptions. So if BC doesn't screw this up at the end of the game, BC wins the game. And I still think these two teams are pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, I think BC is a good team. Also, Winnipeg is as well. I mean, I think they're both very even. At the end of the day, I mean, he threw a couple picks, but certainly offensively, they make plays. Running the football, throwing the football, they make plays. What a difference! And I brought this up before. What a difference! I mean, the first 3 or 4 weeks, we kicked Winnipeg around pretty good and deservedly so. And now, what a difference when you have a quarterback that can do good things. And now we're starting to see just how good they are. I agree. I think that they are a real threat. Maybe the only threat to Calgary. I don't know that anybody else can match Calgary. I think Winnipeg is the team that's probably closest that can beat them.
Now, this may sound crazy, but I think Edmonton's a threat just because of Riley.
In a one-game, you're right. In a one-game situation, I mean, Riley can beat anybody.
Yeah, it's kind of like being it's kind of like the Pittsburgh Steelers are 14-2. They get in a championship game. They've had a great year, but they got to play a 9-7 Patriots team that now has Tom Brady healthy.
Exactly. So.
It's the last thing you want to face, and I still think they're a threat because of that. I think BC, you can't overlook BC when Jennings is on, but other than that, I mean, I think from what I've seen, Winnipeg, Oz, second best team in the CFL now.
Yes, but I'd rather talk about the third best team in the NFL. You're kind of dancing around this BC and playing to the level of the competition and stuff like this. Okay, look, the truth is that BC is 1-3 in the last 4. The truth is they're 4-4 in the last 8. And most importantly, so far this season they are 1-5 against Calgary, Winnipeg, and Edmonton. Okay, and that one game was week 1. Right, where they won by 2 points.
Yeah, in a game
Calgary.
where they really probably got outplayed.
Right. Edmonton beat them not 3 weeks ago, 27-23. Okay, now you can argue all this, and I think actually Edmonton should probably be number 3 in your power rankings this week, Mike, or whoever makes the Grueling Truth power rankings.
Well, you know I do. You don't have to be a smart ass. You're just jealous because I get to do it and a lot of people read it, and you don't. You have to read it.
I'm just messing with you, Mike. I'm just getting in my licks while I have the mic. So they have to. I think they have to win this game this week. And you talk about how they're close ones and they're 1 score and they're 3 points and 1 point and all this stuff, overtime and all this stuff. But the point is that they're losing. They're losing to the teams to which they're supposed to be compared. And all of a sudden, it looks like the Lions now are going to cross over to the East if they keep losing like this. They're facing the Rough Riders for a couple games in a row, and the Riders are hot. The Riders want to win, and they're happy, and they're having fun. They could beat the Lions twice in a row. Easy.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, and that's what I'd really like to know is what happened to this team. It all just disappeared. They looked omnipotent at 5-2, and now they're, they might be the third place team in the East.
Okay, I'm going to say something that may be crazy. Because I've done that before, like once, I think, wasn't it, Schmidt, like 5-6 years ago? But I still think, I mean, is it crazy of me to think that the problem with this team could have been solved with a more consistent quarterback in Travis Lulay?
No.
I don't think it's crazy at all.
I mean, Dieter, any opinion? I mean, Lulay.
No, I don't know. I know, but I don't think. Honestly, I think Lulay has lost a lot of his power and his throwing ability, and of course he hasn't been able to. I can't throw the ball very much because recently because Jennings has been playing, but I just think Jennings has got more ability and in the throwing, in throwing the football, and I just think Travis, when he hurt his shoulder a couple of years ago, just has not gotten it back.
All right. I'm going to go with Brian's answer, if that's all right with you, Dieter. He agrees with me.
The only reason I agree with Dieter. I think the only reason I say that is I think
turnovers. You can't throw the ball over.
I I think he would manage the game. I think Jennings gives you big play abilities on both sides of the coin. He's going to make big plays. He's going to give up big plays. I think Louis, maybe with his experience, may have been more steadying, not turn the ball over as much. Maybe they're not as explosive offensively.
Maybe he plays a lot more like Nichols and Winnipeg, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that
they run the ball well. They play defense.
Yeah.
You know, BC runs the ball well. They can play defense, but when you're giving up 3 extra possessions a game, it's hard to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that would be my only point there, and it may be crazy. And I think Jennings is going to be a hell of a quarterback in another year or two.
No, I do
not
too.
a shot at him.
I think he's going to be an outstanding quarterback in the CFL. I think right now you're seeing the young quarterback growing pains. He can look real good one drive and look real bad the next.
Yeah, I mean, an NFL comparison, since you're a Steelers fan, Schmidt, was Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, that first year he won a lot of games, but when it came down to it, he made mistakes in the playoffs. It almost knocked him out the first playoff game and definitely got him beaten the last one.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to get with the young quarterback. I mean, in the NFL comparison right now is everybody talking about Prescott, but I believe he's playing out of his mind right now. I think he's going to be an outstanding NFL quarterback, but young guys eventually they come back down to the median, and now you start seeing where they'll look good one drive, look bad the next, and in the case of Prescott, he threw his first pick this week.
Yeah, but in the case of Prescott, you've got by far the best offensive line in front of you, and maybe the best running back.
Right, but
it makes everything a lot easier.
He's still going to make young quarterback mistakes, and you were seeing the same thing. You see it with any young quarterback. I mean, I've not seen a rookie quarterback in any league, CFL, NFL, or a young quarterback certainly, and not make mistakes in their first couple of years. You got to grow to be a good professional quarterback.
Tom Brady.
Well, he made some mistakes, but I mean he
didn't make too many. Win the Super Bowl.
No, he didn't make as many as most, but he still made some mistakes early.
Well, everybody makes some mistakes. Big Ben still throws into triple coverage, gets picked from time to time.
Yeah, not
you may remember in the Patriots' first run, there was a couple of interesting anomalies. For example, there was exactly one touchdown pass thrown by the Patriots in the playoffs that year, and it was by Bledsoe, who had to come in that one playoff game when Brady got knocked out by injury.
What's your point?
So Brady was hardly a stud in that first playoff run. Now,
but the point is this: Brady, as a rookie, is one of the few rookies I've seen that didn't force stuff and cause his team to lose.
Yeah.
And, I mean, really, if you think about it, the anomaly is there. They only threw one touchdown pass. But you also got to remember they played a game in a snowstorm where I don't think anybody threw too many touchdown passes in that game. And he did play his ass off in the Super Bowl. He drove him down the field to get the last game-winning field goal. Let's transition. Joe McKnight didn't even know that he was in the CFL till this week because this is the first game he played. But ran for 150 yards, 17 carries as the Rough Riders won again, 29-11. Oz, are the Rough Riders a top 5 team in this league right now?
Right now, wow, great question. No, they can't really be. They're probably still number 7, right? I mean, right now Hamilton is probably.
I got them at 7, but you know what? I think they're better than Hamilton right now.
Yeah, see, right now they're so much fun. This is great. The only bad thing about watching the Riders, there's 2 bad things, is that Naaman Roosevelt is out for the season with an injury because he was having a hell of a season before they got this hot. And the other thing is that it should have happened 3 weeks earlier. This is what we expected all season, for Jones to finally get all his pieces on the board and start playing well with them. And that's what's happening right now. This is finally the team he wants, more or less, and it's working well. His schemes are in place, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And but wow, this is a great team. A lot of fun. Very nice team. And again, like I say, they're going to give the Lions a hard time down the stretch.
And I think it's safe to say right now, Dieter, that Toronto's the worst team in the CFL.
I think they've just given up. I don't know what they're thinking and what they were thinking 2 or 3 weeks ago. You know, I mean, when you give up all these receivers, I mean, hell, the quarterbacks don't even have anybody to throw to. I mean,
yeah, but hey,
they got no chance.
Dieter, we'll have to talk off air about this, but if you want to know what happened there, I can let you know. And
okay.
They had to let him go, so I would let that go at that. But I will call you.
Well, I'm sure they let him go for a reason, but I mean,
there's a really good reason, but I can't say any more about that.
I believe you. I certainly believe you.
We'll cut off our pipeline of information.
Okay.
But I mean, even with that, I mean, it just seems like earlier in the year when Ricky Ray went out, they were crap. Ricky Ray came back, they were good. So are Drew Willie and Dan Lefevre that bad?
I don't know. Obviously Drew Willie didn't play very well this last game, and I see where Ricky Ray is possibly coming back, and I really don't.
There's no point in it.
I don't know if it's going to matter. I don't know.
No. And the only thing he there is getting him hurt again.
Yeah. I don't understand it, but yeah, they're the worst team, no doubt.
All right, Brian, how good are the Rough Riders right now, and do you think that they will be a huge threat going in next year?
I definitely think that if they're not top 5 in the league right now, they're approaching it. I think they'll be, they'll definitely be better next year. Again, it's with what happens in the off season, but it's been a great run, and again, a team that looked so bad at times. Now all of a sudden, we're looking at it and saying, boy, I mean, if they would have started this run maybe a couple weeks sooner, we're talking about them being a hot team in the playoffs.
Yeah, just 2 weeks sooner they'd have been all right, probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because who knows if okay, here we go. This is the big one. The Montreal Alouettes. Oz, go.
Oh God, kill me now.
Hey, actually, defensively, the Alouettes played really well,
awesome.
Like they have all year. I mean, who else holds Calgary to 22 points? And I mean, the thing that's really impressive about them holding it to 22 points is the fact that the Alouettes hardly ever had the ball.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. 29 minutes. After 29 minutes, it was 2-0 based on a couple of rouges. I mean, really just awesome. 3 sacks on the quarterback against, again, the Stampeders, who rarely give up more than 1 in a game, if that. Gave up 3 in the first half. And they had another one called back based on an illegal block downfield or something crazy like that. They got to him 4 times in the first half alone. I mean, fantastic defense. And again, the worst bit of it for the Montreal Alouettes fan is all this thing is another game on the resume of Noel Thorpe, the defensive coordinator, who's going to hit the highway as soon as the season is over. As soon as that Grey Cup, the whistle on the Grey Cup blows, that's it. He's out. He's out of Montreal. He tried to leave last year. They didn't let him. This is absolutely awful. We have this wonderful defense in Montreal. We won't next year. And probably
where's it going to go?
That's a very good question, but they are talking very seriously about Milanovic getting the boot in Toronto. Maybe he's out. And so, that was the thing with Thorpe is he wanted to interview for the head coaching position, I believe it was in Edmonton. And the Montreal called back his contract or whatever, made him do this last year. But as soon as this year is over, he's out. And I guess it's Toronto because apparently most coaches are pretty solid this time. Last year it was nuts. It was a carousel. But this year, most coaches are pretty secure, except for Milanovic. He's the only one that's really on a hot seat right now.
Yeah.
So.
Let me ask Oz a question on this one. Milanovic being on the hot seat, is he truly deserving of being on the hot seat?
Well, see, this is the thing. It's all rumor and conjecture. Of course, no one official has said anything, but this seems to be the media's perception. I mean, you look at the guy at the press conference, and, this is just from a fan's viewpoint. You look at him at the press conference when he's announcing these releases, and this guy does not look like he's in control of this team. it looks like he's lost control of his team, and that's a big. I mean, you guys were coaches. I'm sure that's a big minus with the front office, right? They don't like to see that. This team was supposed to, again, be drawing big crowds with quality football, and guess what? They've neither drawn crowds nor played quality football this season. Milanovic gambled a lot on Ricky Ray and lost, because Ricky Ray was lost for most of the season. I mean, that's it. Maybe Milanovic deserves it, maybe not. Maybe the rumors are completely all false, and like I say, conjecture. But, he did not deliver the results that they wanted this year. That much is certain.
Yeah, my big thing is this. I think he's a good coach, but the problem is
sure.
when you lose your starting quarterback, your team shouldn't quit on you.
Yes, exactly. Hamilton did not. When they lost their starting quarterback, they did not quit.
No. All right. So speaking of Hamilton, let's go ahead. I would ask. I'm so sick of talking about how good Calgary is. So we'll wait a while on that. We'll go. We'll start off with Brian. Brian, Hamilton Tiger Cats at the Ottawa Redblacks.
Got to go with Ottawa. I think they're starting to peak right now. I think Hamilton is, basically tumbling down a cliff right now. So I'm gonna go with Ottawa.
All right, Oz.
Yeah, it's gotta be Ottawa. I mean, as good as Mazzoli played last week, he still made several bad mistakes, ugly plays, and got lucky on a couple of touchdowns. No way, it's got to be Ottawa. Burris is in Terminator mode.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Ottawa also. Dieter?
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you guys. Ottawa, at home, even though Hamilton, I think it's a pretty even game, really. But I mean, with Ottawa playing at home, the only thing I worry about Ottawa is they lost. They lost their great receiver Williams a couple of games ago. Definitely a big play threat for them, and But I still think Ottawa is going to win this one.
All right, that brings us to Toronto at Calgary. Dieter, we'll let you have the tough pick of this game.
Oh, Lordy. Well, all I can say is Calgary.
Well, as Brian Schmidt would say. Brian?
I would have to probably be drunk to say anything other than Calgary.
So are you drunk?
No, so I have to go with Calgary.
Okay. All right. Oz.
Yeah, Calgary. But I guess the more interesting question is the point spread is 15.5. They got to beat that too as well, right? They win by more than
gambling is not legal where I live, so I really don't.
Well, yeah, but just theoretically, as a benchmark number.
Yeah, I'd give the points there. How about you, Dieter?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely would.
Because
I would bet on. I think I would bet on this one.
I don't think Toronto could score any points.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they can score, really. Again, I mean, that's,
I mean, right now, Toronto played Montreal. It might be a 1-0 final.
Well, no, I was thinking it was like -1-0. If ever a team could score -1, it would be one of those two teams.
I think Montreal could go scoreless. I think Toronto's bad enough right now to put up the -1. Oz, we'll let you pick your boys here. Montreal at Saskatchewan.
Nah.
And here's my question: they traded Duron Carter.
They released him.
Yeah, same difference. Why wouldn't you trade him? Or nobody wanted him? Or I don't believe that. Or is it just a salary cap thing, and they're in a complete utter disarray right now?
Yep. It's the salary cap thing. This is part of it. It's kind of a screw you move by the organization because they released them, and while these two guys, both of these guys, Stafford and Carter, can be signed by any other team, they can't actually play a game. I believe they can even practice with the team. Oh boy, but they cannot play in a game for the rest of the season.
Well,
so
in defense, if you were to go to a good team, it's probably more fun to practice than it is to play in a game for Montreal's offense.
Oh, yeah, but they won't do that. Come on. What player is going to do that?
So they were assholes, the guys that actually, Duron Carter was about their only weapon all year, so they'd screw him over since they screwed up the salary cap and Jim Pop was their coach.
Yep. The salary cap was screwed. I mean, we've been talking about this all year. And, you remember the thing, twice at practices this season, Cato and Carter had dust-ups. They came to blows about something or other, about how the offense was being run, most likely. In this past game, Carter got 5 targets, supposedly. That's what they were saying at the end of the game. I didn't count that many, and not many of them were quality targets. Let's just say that. So, but this team is in a graveyard spiral. I mean, there are some dark days ahead for the next couple of years, just because Mr. Pop paid a lot of old guys just a bit too much this past couple of seasons. So much for the glory days. I mean, this is a team that had been on a run since they returned from Baltimore, so about 19 years in a row they were in the playoffs. Last year was the first time they hadn't made it. They're not going to make it this year, and then maybe 2-3 more years after this. So,
all right, Peter, after that long dissertation about the Montreal Alouettes, are you picking the Alouettes or the Rough Riders?
Oh, come on.
No, I'm picking Saskatchewan on this one. I think they're they're playing really well right now, and they have a 4-game win streak. Even though I still like Montreal, they play hard on defense. And
aren't they playing Vernon Adams at quarterback this week too?
Yes.
So they might have been able to score -1. Okay.
Okay, I didn't know that one. But anyway, I'm going with Saskatchewan.
All right, Brian.
I would have to be drunk and on drugs to pick Montreal.
See, I don't think so. I think drunk and on drugs would be picking Toronto over Calgary. I think picking Montreal over Saskatchewan would just be drunk.
So with that, since I'm not any of that, I'm going to go with Saskatchewan.
Well, good thing it wasn't a Thursday night when we did this show, huh, Brian? All right, now the game of the week. I think Edmonton at BC. I'll start this one off since it's the hardest game. I figured I'd go first. I'm taking Edmonton. I think Edmonton will beat them straight out. I think Edmonton beats them by at least a touchdown. Brian?
I agree. I'm going with Edmonton. Hot team, starting to get this thing going at the right time. And BC is, that enigma right now of, what are they? Are they going to be a contender, or are they going to be just a team that gets into the playoffs and then gets beat? But right now, I got to go with Edmonton.
All right, Dieter.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you guys. I like Edmonton here. Mike Riley again is having a heck of a year, and I think defensively they're playing a little bit better. And I think BC they're struggling right now, so I'm going with Edmonton.
All right, Oz.
Well, we can't all agree on every game, right? So
we can, I guess, unless Schmidt's drunk or on drugs.
Yeah, I'm not drunk. I'm not on drugs.
Well, no, that was just Schmidt.
Okay.
What's that?
Well, I'm going to go with. I will go against my better judgment and against my instinct and against my rant, and I'm going to go with the BC Lions. I mean, because what the hell? They can't possibly drop another game to a Western team, can they? Can they? Could they really go like 1-whatever against the West this year?
Well, Toronto goes months without winning. And the big question now is, will Calgary catch Montreal during that time of the month? Because they play next week, and it's been 3 or 4 weeks since Montreal scored any points.
Oh, come on. No way. Okay,
I'm calling it right now. I may change my mind by next week, but I think Calgary beats Montreal next week.
Oh, yeah? You're going to go out on a limb there?
No, I'm just kidding. But it was, what the hell?
He did have some drama.
Yeah, just for a little bit there was some drama. Because, there's some fans of the Calgary Stampeders throwing shit at their computers. That guy's a retard. I told you I hate Americans. He probably voted for Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. All right, Dieter, any closing?
Where the hell did that come from? Where did that come from?
Dieter, any final words since Oz just interrupted you?
No. I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens here in the next few weeks and see what happens for the playoffs. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I'm planning on getting a hold of John Gregory for our Grey Cup show. We'll have John on.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'd be great.
All right, Brian, any final words? Better than your Steelers lost to the Dolphins. How sad is that?
Well, they wouldn't have lost to the Dolphins if somebody had decided to go ahead and hurt his knee. But with that being said, I don't really have a lot to say.
Excuses. Now you sound like a Packers fan. Go ahead.
I don't really have a lot to say. It was not a good football weekend. So I hope this weekend's a better football weekend for me. And
well, if you got Landry Jones starting against the New England Patriots, it's probably not going to be any better than last week.
Yeah, you weren't just going to let me have 5 minutes with this one, were you? But nah.
Well,
so,
I love Landry Jones. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks.
Yeah. So right now, I'm probably going to start drinking because I figure if I start drinking now, I should be able to get through this weekend pretty well.
Well, plus you'll be in perfect state of mind to do the NFL Pick'em show here in a half an hour.
I know. So,
and make sure, everybody, you check out the NFL Pick'em show. It'll be myself, Matt Andrew Scavage, not Oz. Oz is not on the show because he tells me he's too busy. Brian Schmidt will be on the show. We got a school teacher from Cleves who's a fan that's going to call in and pick games for Mark Cooper because Coop is out drinking some sort of alcohol and fishing somewhere on a boat. Which doesn't sound like a bad thing right now. I don't even know what I was talking about now. So, Oz, do you have any final words?
Sure, yeah. I have some final words. I encourage everyone to check out the LA Rams 2.0 show that's produced weekly here at thegruelingtruth.net. This week we have a couple of players that Dieter may recall on the show. We have Tony Hunter, of course, who always co-hosts the show, and Greg Bell joins us this week.
Okay. Well, I remember Tony because Tony was there when I was there in 85.
Yeah, I think Greg was after you, wasn't he, Dieter?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, Greg. Yes, Greg may have been after your time, yes.
Yep.
Apologies, yes. But those guys played together at Notre Dame, Buffalo, and in Los Angeles for the Rams. So we had a nice, long conversation today, nice, long podcast for everyone to listen to. That should be up within hours of this podcast being up, I suppose, 12 hours or so. So, yes, I just wanted to encourage everyone to check that out. Shameless plug now over. Have a great week, everyone.
All right, and you can listen later in the week to Brian Schmidt with the White Stone on the Pittsburgh Steelers Weekly. We got anything special coming up this week? Or are we just going to whine that Big Ben's hurt?
Pretty much just whine. We're going to talk about the injury. We're going to talk about, I'm going to throw my coaching hat on and talk about what Steelers need to do to have any shot of beating New England.
Well, they have to get Big Ben healthy.
Yeah, that would be the miracle drug.
Maybe what do you think about lineup and like the old, the Veer or something, and just let D'Angelo Williams and Le'Veon Bell carry the ball every play?
Well, that's pretty much my thought. Line up in the Veer and but right now, I mean, we're gonna talk about that and I mean talk about this Miami game again. I'm gonna start drinking now so I can possibly talk about it.
All right, and I'm going to be on the Bengals show with Joe Kelly, and we're going to happily talk about the Big Ben injury, which keeps the Bengals in a divisional race now.
Fortunately, I will say this: it's looking like he'll only miss the New England game. So.
Yeah, but the thing that's really good about this for Bengals fans and fans of anybody in the AFC North is the fact that once he starts getting hurt, he usually doesn't stop.
Nah, he did last year.
No, he didn't.
He's pretty tough. Yeah, but he played.
Playoff game.
Yes, but he played. No matter he gets hurt or not, he plays.
When did this CFL show turn into a dig on the Pittsburgh Steelers show?
That it was basically just, I think we were trying to promote one of our shows. You already promoted your freaking Rams show, all right? Come on. You're promoting a Rams show. We're promoting, a show with teams that have made the playoffs in the last century.
Yeah, that have made the playoffs. Yeah, such a Bengals fan. Uh-huh.
But you're a Rams fan. You didn't even have a team to cheer for until, this year? All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up because Dieter's probably tired of sitting on the other listening to this.
Bedtime.
Yeah, it's time for Dieter to go night-night. All right, guys, so make sure you check out The Grueling Truth, thegruelingtruth.net. We will also release our first ever NBA Power Rankings tomorrow. We got a few NBA writers, have a few NBA podcasts, also college basketball, college football. If you're interested in doing a podcast, you can send us a message through Twitter at Grilling Truth, Facebook, anywhere you can find a Grilling Truth. You just send us a message. So for Brian Schmidt, Os Davis, Dieter Brock, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to the Grilling Truth, where the legends speak.